All right, guys, we're getting closer to when we start our actual writing. So let's revisit our prompt. So we have this one right here. In your readings, you've encountered two different narrative points of view, first person and third person. Which style do you think is a more effective way of telling a story? State your opinion in the essay and provide reasons that are supported by details from two of the following reasons. So remember, we need to pick two that tell us what? That tell us why their point of view style is better for the reader. To get engaged is better to tell a story. So let's visit our chart before we begin. So we have a lot of stuff already that we've done with this. So we're going to visit our chart that's right over here. Look at all this stuff we've done with our writing so far. So remember, we're doing an opinion essay. We need to include these features. The topic, we need to tell our opinion. We need to support our opinion with reasons and details from the readings. Include a concluding statement or section. Gather information from sources. Take notes and categorize information. Include reasons for the opinion. And we need to include details that support the opinion. So a lot of stuff going on. So all of that's what we have to fit in our essay. So we're going to do another informational gathering before we begin. So this is our text chart that we're going to look at. It's our reactions to the chart, where it's just going to show our point of view for each, our reactions, and maybe the reasons why we picked it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to look at the first paragraph in Here Boy. And I want you to notice what the paragraph is being told as in what point of view. So let's head on over. At first, I didn't see a dog. There was just a lot of vegetables rolling around the floor, tomatoes and onions and green peppers. And there was what seemed like a whole army of Winn-Dixie employees running around waving their arms just the same way the store manager was waving his. So, what point of view do we see right here? Well, we see right away, and let me slide this over. We see right away that it's first person point of view. We've talked about it a lot. It's Opal telling us the story. And then I'm also just going to put Opal in here just so I know who's telling that story. And what's my reaction, or what does that make me feel about it? Well, it makes me feel, nope, I guess it's going to make me type it again. Here we go. So it's making me feel like I'm actually there. I'm seeing this wreckage. I'm seeing this carnage that this dog is doing. So the description is, I think, pretty good. It's giving me that feeling that even if I'm reading a book, I can really visualize it well. So it's making me feel as if I am there. So let's change that to font size 16. And then, why do I think this? Why is that my reaction to it? Well, in the opening paragraph of Here Boy, Opal meets the dog that she later takes home. The story's in that first person point of view, which is Opal's, and Opal's describing what she sees, which helps me feel as if I'm in the store watching it. So there's that main part of she's doing such a good job describing it that I don't even need these pictures to visualize that I'm there. So I'm seeing the scene through the narrator's eyes, and I'm hearing her thoughts. I can tell that she doesn't want this dog to go to the pound. I can tell that she deeply cares about it. What I don't know, being first person, is I don't know the manager's feelings, but I do know what's going on in Opal's head, and I can see that she loves this dog and doesn't want anything bad to happen to it. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that same thing with our other text. I'm going to do that same thing with Waiting for Stormy. I'm going to do the same thing with A Dog's Life and with Quiet. So let's take this on over. And we're going to head on over to our next one. We're going to head on over to Stormy. And we're going to look at two paragraphs on this one. We're going to look at the one where Maureen is daydreaming. But Maureen remained standing, staring fixedly at the map over the blackboard. Her mind suddenly went racing across the world and backward in time to a tall-masted ship. Not the one that Columbus sailed, but the one that brought the ponies to Asategu. And she saw a great wind come up, and she watched it slap the ship onto the reef and crack it open like the shell of an egg. And she saw the ponies spewed into the sea, and she heard them thrashing and screaming all the wreckage. And one looked just like Misty. I said, the teacher's voice cut through the dream, you may sit down. And then our next one we're going to look at is Paul's Daydream. Paragraph 11, right over here. He was not there in the little white schoolhouse at all. In his mind, he was back at Pony Ranch, and Misty had broken out of her stall and gone tearing down the marsh. And in his fantasy, he saw the colt being born. And while it was all wet and new, it was sucked slowly, slowly down into miry bog. And there was no sound, no whimper at all, just the wind squeaking through the grasses. Tap, tap! Mrs. Ugo rapped her pencil sharply on the desk. Boys and girls, she said, you have all heard of people suffering from nightmares, but I declare Paul Beebe is having a daymare. So what do we have here now? Well, we have our point of view, and it is third person. So let me get this down here. And it's being told by an omniscient narrator. Meaning this narrator kind of knows everything that's going on. He knows our characters' thoughts and feelings. It's focusing mostly on Misty, Paul, and Maureen, but it's a little different than our first person. And why is that? Well, my reaction to this, how I think about this, is I enjoy it. The description lets me know what's going on in several settings. And why does the narrator do this? Why did the author decide to use third person? Well, it's probably let us know how worried the kids are. And also then to show us at the end that Misty the horse is safe. I can see how worried the kids are, comma, but I can also see at the end that Misty is okay, period. So that's one of the reasons why maybe the author picked that. So we can see that this horse is very important to people, but it's not just important to the one, it's important to the couple, but then also shows at the end that, guess what? The horse is fine. We don't have to worry about it. So now let's head to our next one. It was A Dog's Life. And was it this one? This one. Mentor text. Where was it? I guess I got to find it later. So we're going to head to our next one. Oh, was it? There it is. I mislabeled it for whatever reason. Okay, so this is A Dog's Life. So let's see what our point of view is for this one. Now, let's do this one, and I'm going to look at paragraph 4 and 5. So remember, I'm thinking, what point of view is this being told at? I paw the door open to find an entire slab hanging from a pole. It's absolutely mind-boggling. By the time I've eaten 3/4 of it, I'm stuffed fuller than a Thanksgiving turkey, but I keep at it until every single morsel is gone. Satisfied, I settle down for a good night's sleep. It's morning, and an angry exclamation wakes me. A furious boy scowls at me, but I can sense he's kind. I give him my friendliest yow, yow. He smiles. I know I'm finally about to get a break. So what does this story tell me? Well, again, it's first person like Opal was, but instead of being told by a human, it's being told by a dog. And we don't actually know the dog's name in this, so we're just going to label him as Dog. So yes, first person can be told through the eyes of an animal. And so why do I think the dog narrator was told in first person? Well, I think it was to show us how hungry and desperate this dog was. So I'm going to put the description. Description makes me feel sad for the dog. And I can tell how hungry and desperate he is, period. And I'm not sure why I did description like that, so we changed it. And we're just going to shrink it down so it fits in that one box. There we go. And possible reasons, how did he get this to happen? Well, it's because he wants us to know the dog's thoughts and feelings. He wants us to see how tough the dog's life has been. I'm seeing the scene through the dog's eyes and seeing how difficult his life has been, period. He's not a bad dog, comma. He's just trying to survive, period. And then we'll shrink that so it all fits in one. I think this might need 13, that might need 12. Okay, and our last one is quiet. So let's head to our last text. And we're going to look towards the end, because I like when it's showing how worried he is for his mistress. So let's head on over here. Number 22, or I'm going to start at the end of 21 to 23. The master ordered him back and shut the door in his face. Lad lay down on the threshold, his nose to the crack at the bottom of the door, and waited. He heard the murmur of speech. Once he caught the mistress's voice. It was changed and muffled, and with a puzzling new note in it, but undeniably the mistress's. And his tail thumped hopefully on the floor hall. But no one came to let him in. And, after the mandate to keep out, he dared not scratch for admittance. So this was kind of like A Dog's Life, because even though it's told in third person, because we don't see the word I in there unless someone's talking, it's mainly focusing on the dog. Now, what are some possible reasons that he chooses this? Well, I think he wants to focus on the dog, but he also wants us to give some feedback, some information about what else goes on. If it was just the dog, then we wouldn't know some of our other pieces of information in here. We might not have known about, where is it? Where's the part I was looking for? If it was told through the eyes of the dog, we might not have had all of these introduction things. It might have just jumped right in, and he might have told it like a dog actually would, was just focusing on the fun, the action, but he really wants to put some description in there to let us get the feel of what it's like at this house. So let's head on over. And so our reactions being in third person. The description lets me see how desperate, I already used the word desperate, so I'm going to stop that because I used it in the last one. The description lets me see how loyal the dog is, Lad, to the master and the mistress, period. If it was just the dog in first person, the author may not have been able to show that sense of loyalty, especially because it might not have been, if it's a true dog, they might not have incorporated him understanding that he knows that he needs to be quiet when the person is talking, since dogs wouldn't understand complete sentences. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why you might pick certain narrative points of view. The author wanted to describe how loyal Lad was, but still wanted to have the option to describe the scenery and the setting instead of just focusing on how a dog would tell a story, period. So again, there's a whole bunch of different reasons why maybe they picked one narrative point of view over the other, why they picked first over third, but these are just some reasons on why I think the authors picked those. So we're almost ready. We're going to start writing our opinion essay. I believe it's tomorrow, but it might be Thursday. So good luck, you guys.